Hello, I'm Harvie S., and I'm here at Kolstein, NYC. Hello, I'm Harvie S., and we are here at Kolstein, NYC. We're in New York City, and right across the street from Central Park, and right near Columbus Circle. And this is a podcast called Bass in the Corner. And in New York, the bass players are the lifeblood of the music scene. We're making it happen at all times. And the bass players in these interviews are people in the jazz scene, Latin scene. They do Broadway shows, they do concerts around the city, and of course they all have careers traveling, touring with the famous and great people. And so these are real special people. But we're not going to talk about how to play the bass. We talk about them more personally. So anyway, I'm really lucky today to have an old friend, so I've known for a long time. We teach together at Manhattan School of Music, and he's one of the most working bass players in New York. We have Mr. Jay Anderson.
Thanks, brother. Good to see you, Harvie.
Good to see you,
Thanks
Jay.
for having me.
Oh, so great to have you. I tried to get you on the last ones, but you were too busy. So I'm glad I found an actual little spot where you're not so busy.
This is great.
So, all right, basically, it's kind of nice if people, will get an idea what you're doing now. They can look you up in Wikipedia and say, oh yeah, you did this, and this, and all the records you've made. But, give me a little synopsis of what's coming up in the next 2, 3, 4 months.
Okay. Well, I have played with Maria Schneider for 30 some odd years.
Yeah.
And I'm still playing with her.
That's great.
So we have some little tours coming up. We're going to play at Birdland soon, the Midwest. So I still play with her. And I enjoy playing in a big group.
Well, it's
as we know,
one of the greatest
we're the foundation of the band. So if we're out of tune, the band's out of tune. So I like taking care of business in that situation. And what else? I have a little band with Mark Momas and Kenny Wessel. You know those guys. Armin Donnellian.
Oh, Armin.
With Armin, we're doing some stuff, and he's splitting his time between New York and Arizona.
Oh, so, really?
Yeah,
What's he doing in Arizona? He's teaching out there?
Just living.
Living?
Yeah.
Okay, living is good.
And Bob Mincer. Have some stuff with Bob Mincer coming up. So
nice.
Quartet with Phil Markowitz.
Oh, well, yeah, that's
John
kind of a
Riley,
band that used to be together years ago.
Yeah. So that kind of stuff.
Oh,
and
good.
Like you and everybody, miscellaneous.
Right. But I know you're always busy. I see your name everywhere. So
it might appear that way more than it actually is.
Yeah, well.
I'm glad that's what you think.
No, you're doing it. But, okay, well, good. So now, even though I've known you a long time, I never really know, how did you, kind of start on the bass? Because, let's face it, bass is not exactly the kind of instrument, like every house has used to have a piano, but not every house has a bass sitting in the corner and you're going to go play
it. We did it. My mom actually played mom piano, but had perfect pitch and was really an incredible musician, even though she basically taught little kids.
Right, but she didn't have a bass in the corner.
No, but she tried to teach me, and that wasn't a good pairing. Like when I was 8 years old.
Never is.
So I wanted to play music, but I didn't know what instrument. I kind of wanted to play trumpet. So my mom went to the junior high school, I guess it was, and talked to the band director, and he was a bass player, and said,
"Oh, he was a bass."
Yeah. So he said, "Well, why doesn't he play bass?" So she literally brought a K bass from school home.
Man.
And as you know, bass is kind of easy to play poorly and difficult to play well. So I got
as every instrument is.
Yeah. But like you said, nobody has a bass in their house, and when you're a little kid, it's a hard instrument to pick up when you're young, you know.
Yeah.
Double the size. Except the only person I know, like, do you remember Dan Chmielinsky? We listened to him audition at Manhattan School of Music.
Yeah.
I think he went to Juilliard, but I think he
Oh,
started
I
playing when he
remember.
was 3 years old or something, which I,
He was a very good bass
Yeah,
player, I remember.
yeah. But he had a little tiny bass. You know, so she brought a bass home, and my band director became my teacher, and he was a great guy and very supportive.
Oh, you're very
and,
lucky. That's
yeah,
great.
So I was very lucky.
Wow. So you got into it at a young age, and that's great.
It seemed to be a good fit, so
Yeah, and then you decided you started on acoustic bass. You didn't really do a lot of electric bass.
I started on acoustic bass and
Yeah.
played a little tuba in the marching band,
Oh.
and then played electric bass because that's what we all did. But I never really wanted to do that,
Yeah, it's not.
and
Yeah, it's not your
especially
fit.
you still play electric bass.
Oh,
right?
a little bit, yeah, very little.
So
Unfortunately,
when I moved to New York, I eventually there's so many guys that do it great that I figured I would cash out on that. So
and just yeah, no, I totally agree. That's why I kind of stopped playing electric bass. I saw these young kids playing it, and they could just do, rings around me, and I can lay down a groove,
Yeah, yeah.
But these kids like they can, do a concerto on the bass, so on the electric bass. So I kind of got away from that. But
So I had a really nice electric basses, but I sold them. And no sooner did I sell them that I started playing with Mike Brecker. And he was like, "Do you play electric bass?" I said, "Well, I don't have one." I kind of quit playing electric bass, and he was like, "Well, I'd like it if you'd played on a couple tunes." And I was like, "Sounds like a good idea." So I actually rented. You remember Kip Reed? Remember
yes, I
Kip?
know Kip. Yeah.
So I ended up renting my bass back from Kip, and I think paid him more renting it than he paid for it. You know? So,
Yeah, I haven't sold mine. I'm still keeping it, but I'm at the point of like with the electric bass. They're doing something, and I said, "Yeah, I feed the electric on one tune." That's okay. It's okay. They go like, "It's all right." Nobody would. They think I don't know how to play it because I'm not known for it. So they get like, no, it's all right. So I said, "Okay, I
I'm
won't play."
listening to Schlepp, so that's good.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. But okay, great. So now, like being a bassist and being a musician, traveling and playing with all kinds of people and everything, like I bet you've got some stories.
I do, but
Some you can't tell. I know.
my wife says, I come back from the road. She said, "Oh, you should write a book." And I said, "Marianne, every bass player, every musician I know has millions of them, so I can't think of. They're all too long to
Oh, it's
go
not
into
too long.
detail.
You can tell if you
But
had to be on some tour with some issues with your bass.
oh yeah, they got destroyed going to Australia.
Oh, what happened to your bass in Australia?
It just got destroyed beyond recognition in a case. This was like 30 years ago, and had to try to get it fixed in Perth, which is, I think, the most remote big city on earth. I found a violin maker, and he did what he could in a few days.
They put it together?
It wasn't completely destroyed, but it was pretty bad.
Yeah. It was
So but he got it to where it was kind of playable. And then I had to continue touring. And then it got stolen that same tour. And I found it in front of a bus stop in Perth. Like the day they gave it back to me, I did a gig. It was gone. Left it for a minute, it was gone. And they found it in front of a bus stop at 3 in the morning.
Whoa, that's
Jeff Hirschfield was with me at the time.
Wow.
So he'll attest to it. So.
yeah. That and is any other basses stolen? You never.
I had an electric bass stolen in college out of my van. Really nice pre-CBS jazz bass.
Wow. Yeah.
That's it for bass theft.
Right. Did you ever end up like with a real mixed up gig? Really everything that could go wrong went wrong.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Tours where you take a plane to the train, and that's canceled. You know, just by the seat of our pants, getting somewhere, and then now, as we all do, traveling, just picking up bases everywhere. And
Tell us
you
about-
actually travel with a base, right?
I travel sometimes with my Busetto, which is Kolstein makes it. It's a
Right.
travel base,
Right.
and it's really nice.
Since 9/11, I really haven't traveled with a base.
Yeah, I
It just
travel
got
with
too
that
hard,
sometimes, but I don't travel with a base very much. I just get what's there.
And I kind of like the challenge of that, you know. Makes you
Yeah,
play a little
sometimes-
differently. And
Sometimes it can be pretty awful. I mean,
don't you think it's better now than it was 20 years
it's
ago?
definitely better because more people are getting bases. But I was in China, and they gave me a base. I first thing told them to bring me some towels. It took me like
To clean it.
half an hour to clean it.
Yeah, yeah.
There was so much grime on the fingerboard, and every towel ended up black. 3 towels. I mean, it was disgusting. And then the strings, no adjusters.
Right.
So, and the strings were so high, and I couldn't press the strings all the way down. It was really pretty miserable. And then, like, there was this other band. It was on this festival. And these guys were from, like, some Eastern Bloc country. And this guy picked up the bass and he played it. And he was strong, and I was like, oh, jeez.
Right. I played somewhere in Italy where it was the flights canceled and just unbelievable to get to the gig at all. And I got there, and the bass had a bridge that was like a 2x4 that was kind of shaped like a bass, and so it had little grooves, or like a bridge. And so that was pretty brutal. But
Yeah, sometimes
it's what you have, so
you have to get what you can get.
you have a good excuse.
Right.
know.
But the thing is, they all look at you. Well, you're not playing that good tonight, or you're behind the beat, or usually they're not even nice about it. They're like, you're supposed to play great no matter what you have, and sometimes it's not physically possible.
Yeah.
And
Well, the strings, the string height, the pickup, there's so many components that it's easy to fail, but I kind of like the challenge of pulling it off somehow.
yeah, I try, but sometimes it's really impossible. But we go straight ahead. We try to do that. So you haven't been in the shop yet.
I'm embarrassed to say I've never been here. It's incredible.
Shame on you. No.
No. I look at these amazing instruments.
Well, the good news is, it's in Manhattan now.
Yeah.
The other shop is in Baldwin, Long Island,
Right.
and it's a great shop, and it's very well established, and it's a great place.
And
But
they had
it's
a mail order thing forever, right?
Yeah,
Because I remember when I was a kid, I would order stuff.
Oh yeah, you can
Kolstein.
always mail order stuff.
Like in the 70s or 80s or something.
Oh yeah. They always had a mail order, but still, just to get out to Baldwin it's even with a car, it's difficult. Some people have to take a train, but it services Long Island. They rent instruments to all the high schools and schools, violins, violas, cellos, and basses, and they sell a lot of instruments, and it's a phenomenal store. But now there's a place in New York where, like, if your basses need some work,
No, this is incredible.
you can bring it in here and leave it here, and they will fix it. Or if they can't fix it here, they don't do all the repairs here. They'll send it to Baldwin. They'll ship
okay.
it. They'll fix it. They'll bring it back here, and then it's done. So it's really quite a good situation. And they have the new Kolstein heritage strings, which are great. And Kolstein rosin. I know you don't want a bow anymore.
Well, I do
And you were
everybody
good on the
a
bow.
favor.
I heard some stuff you did. I remember not a record, a live broadcast you did with Iris Sullivan.
Oh, wow.
And you did some bowing on it.
It didn't clear the room.
No, it was really good. You
thanks.
you bowed really well. So, but I know you're not interested in the bow, but the strings are really great. And, you know, we're selling basses and everything here. Those are like my picks, Harvie's picks.
These guys?
Yep, all over there. And Barry and I get together and we fix them up.
Oh.
So he fixes them.
You give him
he
input,
gives them
or
to
do
me.
you physically
I give him
get in
input.
there?
I don't do anything, but he gives it to me, and I say, "Yeah, Barry, blah blah blah. You know, this is neat. I think the sound post could. This part is weak. The fingerboard over here is not right. You know, we get him in really, like you played that bass. It was ready to go.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if you had to go to a gig, you could just put it in your car, go to the gig, play the gig on it, and you'd have no
My
problem.
car is outside.
Yeah, you can take it. No,
perfect.
here, just keep it. You know, we got plenty of them. No.
So I would like you to ask Ron McClure. I know you're seeing Ron in a minute. Sorry to interrupt. Kolstein, do I have 2 minutes to?
We got plenty of time.
I have a quick Paul Bley anecdote
There you go.
that I think Ron has the same story.
All right.
And I had never met him, and he's one of my idols. So I'm doing this record for Steeplechase
Oh, you're one of mine.
with Nussbaum, Adam Nussbaum. And so we talked, and he was nice cat, you know. So it's okay. It's time to record, and we were standing 6 feet from each other. And he goes, "Okay, we're rolling." And he had his head down for maybe a minute, and he said, 1, 2, F4. No, didn't that happen to you too? So I played an F, professional that I am, and fortunately it was like an Ornette Blues or something. But interesting way to start a record date.
Yeah, Paul.
With an air of mystery.
Paul was an interesting guy. I have actually a funny Paul Bley story. When I lived in this loft, I had this cat, which I called the cat with the bad personality. It was not a nice cat. Sorry, I love the cat, but she was a terrible cat. And so Paul Bley calls me up. He says, "Yeah, Harvie, I want to come over and let's play." So I said, "Okay." So he comes over. Now, when he gets there, I was in a loft, and the elevator comes up, and the door opens, and I have a front door, and there's a little hall. So anyway, the cat, of course, is waiting there. So Paul Bley opens up the elevator opens up, and he's with this guy who's blind and has a dog.
Oh.
My cat immediately sprung on the dog, tried to kill it. It was this horrible, my cat was like vicious, wanted to just, and that's how my cat was, wanted to kill this cat. It was a big scuffle, and I had to finally get the cat on the other side, and I had one of those big rolling doors, metal doors this thick, and I could hear the cat rah, rah, trying to break the door down, wanted to kill this dog. It was one of
Did
the,
Paul have any reaction to the
Paul
whole
was
thing?
just, he didn't say anything. But I was thinking, why didn't you tell me that this guy was coming? I'm happy that he came. He played piano. I said, I'm happy he came. He was a nice guy and everything was cool, but I just wish I knew the dog.
Like
There was going to be a dog.
Is this like mid-70s-ish?
Yes.
Early 70s, yeah.
So it was kind of a funny experience, but he scratched the dog and really went for the dog's eyes, tried to blind the dog, and it was pretty brutal. But what can I say? But I love Paul Bley. One time I'm in my car, I'm listening to this thing on KCR. It's a solo piano thing, and it's free. And I'm listening to it, and it goes on for like 20 minutes, just totally free. And I'm thinking, this guy, whoever it is deep. Because, there was something that came across. I'm just listening, and it was, you could tell there was no structure, no time, it was just totally free. And then it was Paul Bley. Man,
Amazing.
deep. Love Paul Bley. So anyway, I guess that's it. It was,
Well, thanks for having me.
Oh man, it was amazing.
It was great to
see
you.
over at school.
See you at juries or something?
I won't be at juries.
Okay.
I'm going to be away that time.
Okay.
But
Well, thanks for having me.
oh wait, no, I'll be there for juries. I won't be there for the auditions this year.
Okay.
Because I'll be doing a traveling thing. So, but if you're there, that'll be good. So anyway, thank you and thanks for coming and.